To take a further look at some of the issues raised in the report and perhaps helping to beam light on areas of solutions, I'm being joined on the News at 10 now by Professor of Strategy and Development and the Director of Center for International Advanced and Professional Studies, Professor Anthony Killer. Is here with me in the studio. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
On the News at 10.
Yes.
So I see that the constitutional framework has been a recurring conversation,
yes.
Especially in Nigeria. And 60 years on, we're still talking about it. We still refer to the 1999 Constitution. We've talked about constitutional reform and restructuring. Why is this such a problem that's so difficult to surmount?
Well, it's such a problem because it's created on a false premises. If you have a decree and you call it a constitution, sooner or later it will generate problem. The reason why constitution has to have plebiscite, has to be deliberated and agreed, is not just because you want to get people together. It is because when people get together, they will talk about their concerns, their fears, and their hope. And all those things will come together to form an agreement. So if you foster a constitution on people, or decree, and you call it a constitution, there will be a problem. And also there is problem because the first two sentences, the first two words in the constitution says, we the people, the first three, and that is not true. So you cannot build something good on something that is weak or false.
And how can we overcome this?
Well, I think we need to embrace reality. We need to understand that, for example, we are a union of nations. We are diverse, we're different. And rather than try to put aside our differences, we need to understand them, then work out how we can live together in a civil way, in a framework of law, an agreement between two free people.
And the constitutional conferences we've had before have not done that?
Well, they have done it in theory, but they've not been implemented. I don't understand why somebody who has lived in this country, like President Buhari and those around him, who saw the process of the Constitution, have decided not to at least talk about what happened in that Constitution. They either say, I have read it, I hate it, or they say, I've seen it, let us try to implement it, not to pretend as if it's not there. That's a very terrible thing to do.
So we do have a diverse and ethnic cultural orientation here in this country as a people, which is also reflected in our politics.
Yes.
And, different groups pulling at the sides, at the seams of Nigeria, wanting to burst out. Going forward, how best can we handle diversity?
Well, I think the best way to handle is to embrace it. The best countries in the world are the ones that understand diversity and then try to work with it. There's no point forcing people to be one. 60 years of trying to do a Nigerian one nation has clearly failed. Maybe it's time for us to look at it and say, oh, actually, we're not one nation. We are a group of nations. How will these nations live together? Will it be one passport or 20 passports?
How can we apply that, especially in leadership recruitment process?
Well, there's nothing impossible. I mean, the social contracts in life, they're not mountains. Monuments are social constructs. You decide how you want to live together. It is not difficult at all. So, how do we apply it? We simply apply it by saying, do we want a loose confederation? Do we want a very federal state? Or do we want a unitary state? We decide. So far, we have tried a false federal system, a unitary system called federal, that has not worked. It has generated mistrust, underdevelopment, nepotism, clannishness, and doubts.
Well, it sounds like a recurring conversation to me. Thanks again, Professor Anthony Killer. Appreciate you all being here.
Thank you for having me.